Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Glider, today with Pillar Loves Tabletop Games. Today's game, Magnifico, Da Vinci's Art of War, from Dust Games. Dust is a game I might want to get to later, if I ever find a copy, but for now we're covering this. Goal of the game is to get to 30 or more victory points first. To do that, you're going to need to invest in Leonardo da Vinci's projects, including making tanks and airplanes an actual thing. So at the start of the game, you'll have the map laid out. The airplane and tank deck will be made so that it contains the number of tanks and airplanes equal to the number of players. The project deck will be shuffled as well and prepared for the auction after the setup. You'll have a token nearby for keeping track of victory points. Then players will roll dice to see who goes first. Highest number of Vitruvian men with ties broken by fewest explosions determines the first player of the game, who will receive the Leonardo card. Alright. Starting with that player and going clockwise. Each player will choose a territory and put 2 of their soldiers or infantry in that territory. You cannot place adjacent to a player who's already set up. So choose carefully. Make sure to give yourself some kind of breathing room to expand out and fortify borders and all that. Alright. Once that's all set up, every player starts with 100 florins. The gold ones represent 50 and the silver ones represent 10. Unlike actual florins, or even a replica, these ones do not have St. John the Baptist on the other side. Anyway, once the game board has been set up, we go to the actual turn. So, first up is income. Each player receives 10 florins per territory, then plus 10 florins per castle. So everybody's getting an extra 20. You can keep that in mind. With the game setup, you can kind of save yourself a little bit of a headache of remembering to have to do that on the first turn of the game. Some cards will give you extra florins. They'll mainly be like the works of art that Leonardo has produced. Let's see if I can find it. Again, if I'd been smart on this. There you go. Get an extra 10 for putting it into play, but it costs you 40 to do it. If you have that, you'll get extra money to work with. The most money you can have is 300 in florins, and any excess goes back to the bank. There's kind of a balancing move. Every territory you own gets a soldier. So go ahead, and it's also something you could probably do with the setup. Tell everyone to take an extra soldier and start on the board with 3 of them. Alright. If you don't have enough soldiers to reinforce everything, you just choose which ones you do. There's no limit to the number of soldiers you can have in your territories. Alright, then we go to the project auction. So we draw at least half the cards for the auction from the War Machines deck, and then the rest from the other one. The cards will be 1 less than the number of players, so 4, with half coming from the tanks and airplanes, and the other coming from the other deck. Some cards provide upgrades to tanks or airplanes, while others are just extra things you can enhance your fighting or other things with. So each player will secretly bid an amount of money. You have to bid at least 10. You keep it in your hand, and then everyone's ready to go. They reveal. The highest bidder becomes the Magnifico for the turn and takes Leonardo card. You'll have your first choice of cards from the auction. In addition, this card can be used once per round to discount the building of any castle, tower, airplane, or tank. But let's say everybody bid 20. Easy come, easy go, right? So the tiebreaker is starting from the player with the left of the Leonardo card. So red would have to pass it over to yellow. Yellow would pick first, and then it would go clockwise. Otherwise, it's going to go from highest to lowest bid. It's entirely possible to get screwed out of the auction. You only give up the money if you actually get something out of it. And you have to actually get a project card to keep the Leonardo card. Otherwise, it's going to the person that's actually going to buy something. You can choose not to buy something. Just keep your money. If you're in a difficult position in the game, you might have to. Any cards that are left unwanted go to the bottom of their decks. If you buy a tank or airplane card, the upper left corner is how much you will pay to actually build them. And they will go in front of you, face up. If you buy if you buy any other card, the cost in the upper left is what you'll pay to activate it from your store. That can also be discounted by having the Leonardo card and using it for the round. They'll go in front of you, face down, a little hand called your store. No limit to the number of cards you can have in your store, and you can then activate it later. If you've got a tank and it shows the tank, it'll upgrade the tank permanently. If it shows the hook symbol, on like the airplanes have, you are limited to putting that many upgrades on your airplanes, and that's it. You can't remove them. You can't change them out. Choose carefully. Let's say yellow's taking tanks. Black is anticipating having to buy tanks later. Green is going to take airplanes. And blue is going to want to be able to deal with enemy defenses. That card is specific. The Bombard. Yeah, this card in specific will reduce the number of defensive power from enemy towers, which will be useful later. So everybody but red got project cards. Red's going to have a monetary advantage of having some extra money to work with. Alright. Once all the projects have been auctioned off, once the auction's done, it goes to the player turn. So, starting with the owner of the Leonardo card and going clockwise. You will do any or some or all of these things. So you can pay to activate your project card, pay the cost in florins, and put it out in front of you. You can build tanks or airplanes, spend the cost in the upper left, and put it where you got a castle. So let's say yellow wants to build a tank. They're going to spend the 20, or they're going to spend 10 and make use of the Leonardo card for the turn. You can build a castle where you occupy a territory without one. Say we moved into here. Let's go ahead and build a castle there. That costs 30 florins. You can strengthen the castle. You can pay 20 florins to build a tower. It just overlays the castle like that. You can invade a territory. If you are in, you can do up to 3 offensive maneuvers on your turn, and 1 set of reinforcement moves. Your offensive maneuvers are spend 10 florins and either go across a sea zone or just walk across land, and now you have a new territory. Alternatively, if you're on somebody's border, you can spend 30 to go attack them. You can take up to 6 infantry. Or at least you can use up to 6 infantry. And then you can use your tanks and airplanes as well. We'll get into that later, though. But yeah, early on, you're probably spending money and just expanding out. You'll get the money back for those territories at the start of your turn, so it's not a loss, it's an investment. Let's say yellow spends money and builds a tank and moves out and spends 20 to improve their castle. If you can get 4 towers on your castle, you build a perfect city. And perfect cities not only provide the best defense, but are worth victory points on their own. Finally, you have 1 movement action that can be split into 3 movements in general. It's take all your stuff and without leaving the territory, like reinforced move. So let's say I had people here. I could spend as a reinforced move one person here, and move the tank over here. You can reinforce across the sea zone as long as you started adjacent to that sea zone. Let's go ahead and pull everything back. But you have to do all those movements at once. You can't move, attack, move, attack, move, attack. Okay. Once you've done doing everything on your turn, next player does their stuff, and so on. And then at the end of the round, score victory points. You will get points as follows. The player currently holding the Leonardo card gets 2 points. The player with the most cards in play, not counting the Leonardo card, gets 2 points. 2 players that have the same number of cards in play will each get a point. So green and yellow, each having the airplane card and the tank card, will each get 1 point. Ties between more than 2 players get nothing. Most castles in play gets 2 points. Ties between 2 players each get a point. Nothing if ever more than that. Most territories, 2 points. A tie between 2 players is 1 point each. And again, more than 2 players is nothing. Every perfect city you have. Gonna do this without destroying it. Is a victory point by itself. The first player to build a tank gets 2 points. The first player to build an airplane gets 2 points. The first player to build a perfect city gets 2 points. They are assigned immediately, and it's entirely possible to end the game immediately by doing so. And then any art cards you have, when you buy them, they get you the points. So you don't have to wait to score them. But you only score them once you've activated them. So it could be a nice little sneaky maneuver to drop on somebody. The victory points phase is resolved with a player who actually has the most points first. And the moment they hit 30 or more, they win. Alright, so let's get into actual combat. So let's say we've got this. They've got the tank on their side, which is probably a ballsy idea, but it might work. And let's say we go in there with infantry and an airplane. Alright. We spent our 30 florins to go to war. And bear in mind, you cannot attack a player's last territory. If I remember this, the last time I played this game with people, I would still be in that game. It would suck, but I could still bounce back. Alright. So the battle will be divided into assaults. Oh, and if you attack somebody from the sea, you have to lose one of your people along the way. So be ready for that. So there will be 3 assaults. The player currently taking the attacks will decide the order for how they want to do it. Infantry, tanks, airplanes. You do not have to use all of your things for it, but if you don't declare, then you're counted as using all of it. When you attack, you have to send in actual people with your war machines. Anyway. So for doing your given assault, infantry, you will roll a die per infantry. Every Vitruvian man will eliminate enemy infantry. Any explosions will be return fire on you. And if you can eliminate, whichever side eliminates the opposing infantry first, will win. Uh, Castles and towers provide defense against ground troops and tanks, but not airplanes. Every tower is another level of defense. So here, our infantry don't do enough to hurt. So what we might end up doing is instead declaring the airplane assault first. So with airplanes, they get to ignore castle defenses completely. You roll a single die. A blank does nothing. A Vitruvian Man does a hit. And an explosion means your airplane crashes and burns. Tanks. You will roll a number of dice shown on the tank card. Lower is better. Lower is safer. It means less likely to malfunction. As long as you don't roll any explosions, you're going to be doing a number of hits to enemy infantry based on the lower right number. If you roll one explosion, you do half that many rounded down. 2 explosions, no hits at all. And 3 explosions kills the tank and everything that's not a fortification on your side. Use tanks defensively at your own peril. Airplanes also have the potential for upgrades to better to intercept tanks, intercept other airplanes, drop infantry into the castle, or just have better, do more hits. Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Again, you can decide at the start of the game if you want to aim to a lower points value, if you want to go for an epic game. And then it's just a matter of build up, expand out, clash with your opponents. It takes money to fight wars, so be careful about going overboard with it. And just have fun using the theoretical crazy shit that Leonardo da Vinci thought would be interesting for whatever reason. War, art, whatever. So yeah, why do I like this game? Probably because of that whole aspect of what if Leonardo da Vinci's war machine ideas were actually used in actual war. Like there's the parachute design for the paratrooper. Where is it? One in here is my personal favorite. There's also submarines to either make assaults worse for your opponents, or armored craft to make it better for you. There it is. The automatons, which give you more soldiers to defend your towers. Yeah. It's a fairly uncomplicated game. Yeah, I could still use some reference sheets and all that, but overall it's pretty cool. Dust Games has other games in their lineup if you want to check them out too. They're going to be weird. Dust in particular, if I can find a copy, would be nice. I want to say Sky Pirates. Sky Traders? Yeah, Sky Traders, also known as Poo Pirates. Is another fun one. I have yet to play City of Thieves. And I think Arcana is another one that I featured before. There's also a Dust Miniatures game. But why did I want to feature a game about Da Vinci stuff in particular? So where I live, they've just opened up, and I'm not sponsored, but I gotta shout it out. The Leonardo da Vinci uh, Museum of North America. Do check it out. They have some stuff that is actually interactive, which I appreciate. Other stuff is like ask staff to demonstrate for you. But yes, it is a nice place. I want to shout it out and say go check that out too. But also check out this game. It's crazy fun. Uh, Magnifico, Da Vinci's Art of War. Play it. See what kind of crazy ass tanks and airplanes you get up to. And just have fun. Thanks for watching. It's Nexus, and I'll see you next time.